How's it going, everyone? Maximilian here with a quick little bit of a follow-up video to the one you might have seen a couple of days ago titled Call of Duty Black Ops, the multiplayer retrospective. Essentially, the retrospective was to give the players that were experienced with Black Ops kind of a look back at what the game offered as far as the Call of Duty multiplayer. Essentially, I was taking it and putting it in comparison to previous Call of Duty multiplayer titles, so we're talking in recent games, Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2. Now, I wanted to do this because a lot of people hate on Black Ops, and I try to keep my opinion like non-subjective. I wanted to look strictly at what Black Ops brought to the table as far as Call of Duty multiplayer goes, and really analyze it, like take a look back and see like what they did right. And if you watch the video, you caught a glimpse of some of the stuff that hopefully people forget over time. Because I wanted to keep my opinion out of a retrospective. It was more, even though a little bit of it gets caught in there every once in a while, it was more about presenting the information so that people can see that Black Ops was a pretty decent game. Even though, for my general opinion, I don't like Black Ops too much, but I appreciate what it does. Things like all the features it offered, the party features, the theater mode stuff, all those things are really good, and it's stuff that made the Call of Duty experience even better. And the biggest problem with Black Ops, and it was something that caught my eye the first day I put the disc into the system, and it was the connectivity between players, aka the lag, or as a lot of people like to refer to it as hit detection. This means your bullets get in contact with the enemy, and it's whether or not the game is registering as your bullets is firing where you think they're firing. The big problem with Black Ops is that if you're the host, you don't experience this. Now, in previous Call of Duties, sure, this type of thing exists, but the big issue was that it seemed to be very, or much more prominent in Black Ops. It seemed to be, you were able to notice it by several degrees. Modern Warfare 2 also had this. The odd thing is that in Call of Duty 4 and World at War, I really never got that impression. I always felt that the game was really pristine and the connectivity between players was really good. World at War was a little sketchy at times, but COD 4 was excellent. And it's kind of hard to say what exactly does this. I think someone in the previous comments from the retrospective, I came with the assumption that it was theater mode, and all the processing of theater mode might have given the game, like, you know, a millisecond or a few milliseconds delay, which is causing the problems. And some guy said that that was true, although I'm not too sure if that's absolutely confirmed or not. It would make sense. But the big reason is that in Call of Duty 4, it just didn't happen. Even if you had 2-bar connections, even if you were riding yellows, the game was still playable. And I think that was one of the really good things about COD 4 is that, or the really good things about the Call of Duty multiplayer. And not to like rag on Battlefield, Battlefield is an absolutely amazing war simulator. And it does the job really well, but I don't think it does it as well on consoles just because of the controls. I'd honestly say Battlefield on like PC is an infinitely better game because you can get it to run at 60 frames a second, and you can have full control of as far as how you want your character to control. Now, the big thing is that Modern Warfare and Call of Duty games on 360 or PlayStation 3, they run at 60 frames a second. And the reason they do this is because it makes the gameplay feel really crisp. It makes you feel every time you shoot a guy that they go down, every time you turn your weapon and fire your gun. When you add 30 frames on top of what the normal frame rate is of like regular 30 and you make it 60, everything feels great and it looks really good too. And like I was mentioning with Battlefield, Battlefield only runs at 30 or less on consoles, and that's my biggest gripe with it. I played Bad Company 2 quite a bit, and the game's a blast. But at the same time, I was struggling with the amount of control I had over my character, and it was just because I played too much Call of Duty in the past. But Black Ops, at the same time, when you match those elements, this pristine control, like people feeling that I'm controlling what I'm doing, I'm seeing the results, people are dying in front of me. But when you get a game that offers that awesome control in previous titles, and then Black Ops throws in these odd hit detection lag issues, that's where a lot of the multiplayer begins to fall apart. Now, Black Ops multiplayer in itself, if you like play a game that is a local connection and either not online at all and you play like on a LAN, it's absolutely awesome. And I'd argue to say that it's almost a completely different game. But at the same time, if you play someone across the United States, for example, like West Coast to East Coast, it's hardly even playable. You feel like, why are you even trying? Especially if somebody on the opposite coast grabs host, it's brutal. And they alleviated that by, you know, fixing the matchmaking like we were saying in the retrospective. That it got a lot better, and it matchmakes you with people closer to your location, which is what Call of Duty matchmaking should always do. But at the same time, it always bugged me, and I'll get into a few games and it'll always be stuck in your mind that, oh, this game's laggy, that's why I'm doing bad, and it's always something for you to direct your anger at if you're doing wrong. If you know what I mean, like, it's kind of easy to get upset if you're on like a crazy death streak, but instead of blaming yourself, you end up blaming the game. And in games like, you know, I can only really say Call of Duty 4 because Modern Warfare 2 had so much BS that could easily kill you. In Call of Duty 4, I never really felt like, well, the majority of the time, that lag was what was killing me. I felt that I made like a poor decision, didn't hit the sight fast enough, stuff like that. Moreover, the other stuff that Black Ops brought to the table was actually really cool. Dolphin diving was something I thought that they were going to do. I thought they were going to give the player another ability, like to do something physical besides just like proning, and they did that. They brought new kill streaks, even though a lot of them were similar to Modern Warfare 2. The guns were a little bit more balanced, but at the same time, when the game debuted, the FAMAS and the 74, you were just broke. And one of my biggest complaints was that second chance is, it bugs the hell out of me. That stuff on top of things like RC cars, man, RC cars I think are one of the worst ideas ever, and I don't think that any kill streak should give the player the ability to kill opponents if it costs less than like 5 kills. And essentially the RC car became a miniature version of a Predator missile with less mobility. So, you know, I honestly think I have less than 100 RC kills in total, and they probably came from care packages. But other than that, Call of Duty Black Ops was a lot of fun. When it first came out, I thought this was like the gold of the Call of Duty franchise. This was as good as it gets. And sadly, down the line, due to a couple small hiccups, it just really wasn't. But thanks for watching the video, folks. If you did get a chance to check out the Black Ops retrospective, the link should be in the description below. And I might be making a Modern Warfare 2 retrospective before Modern Warfare 3 comes out. Thanks again for watching. This has been Maximilian, signing out.